one time when I felt very superior. And also, I made a list of all the things when I started receiving the messages. And I'm the first person to look for faults in people so I can, I had all these walls around me. I didn't want to ever get hurt in my life or, so whether it was work or otherwise. When all these things started happening, I understood, that people drop the bodies, they go to another realm. The love endures and lives on beyond time, lives, and dimensions. And they reach out just because they know the loved ones need a kind word, a small gesture, a reminder, a clarification. And only love is the key, only love is the answer.
Right, love is God. Anyways, talking about mediumship and channelizing, for people, would you like to share any incident which really touched you or which really even shocked you?
Not scared really, but which made me fall in love with the human spirit all over again. There was this South Indian couple which came to one of the chanting sessions. They had lost their daughter on a certain date. She was a 23-year-old daughter. She fell down from a bike and died on the spot. She hit her head, not a drop of blood. And a year after that, 3 days prior to that date, the son, 2 years younger than her, went the same way.
Your screen's gone off 1 minute. Yeah. Oh. Okay, you're back, huh?
And after this happened, Seema, the father had not shed a tear, had not spoken. Both the parents had become suicidal. And somebody brought them to one of these sessions, and usually, at this friend's place, people would come, I wouldn't meet them. I would sit in this little meditation room of friends, and I didn't know whom to pray. Because from the age of 19, I'd stopped being friends with God after seeing what's happening in the world, and had become an atheist, and suddenly I'm channeling. I would just say, whoever is there, the good ones, only you all are welcome. And the sun came, the sun's energy came through, and he says, there are 3 things what he said. First thing is, he tells his parents, do you notice that when you go towards the photos where you light the diyas for us, it flickers as soon as you go closer, even before, as soon as you enter the room. That's us trying to say hello to you. And then he does, do you remember that Diwali? You said that you didn't get anything that you liked. You brought everything, clothes for all of us. He said, I knew that you didn't have the money for yourself. And the third thing he says is that we used to always, both of us, the sister and he, were always born together. And this was the first time they were separated. So he says, do you remember that when one of us fell sick, the other one also would fall sick? So we had to go together. We had work to do. And then he says, ours was in such a short time, we lived the life of 7 lifetimes. And he says that there are many parents who've lost their children. There are many orphans who don't have parents. Be parents to them, and we will meet again. And they said, we will not reincarnate for 5 years because we want to be there for you. When I came out from that channeling session, I had been, my eyes had been shedding tears, like, where I was lying down, both sides was wet. Then the father, after such a long time, he burst out, that angst, and he was crying. And then both of them were hugging me, and I had no way, I didn't know how to comfort them. And I understood, Seema, that how naive I was, how short-sighted I was, how judgmental I was. We respond to people based on how they treat us in that moment. We don't understand that moment that person is not capable of compassion or love because he has gone through something so big that has numbed that person at that point of time. I think this entire channeling thing, what happened, saved me from myself. What the masters did was they took out the most mischievous kid in the class and made them the monitor. So, because I had become totally hard. I hated people.
So do you think one of the ways to get connected to the higher self, maybe the inner self, maybe the other worlds, maybe, or other energies, is through a personal pain or a trauma or a suffering? Is that a nudge from above?
It's only deep trauma and personal loss and pain where a person come to a place of hopelessness where they feel they are not in control. They stop the running and they sit numbed, dazed, maybe broken, unable to move on, incapacitated, that's the time where the chaos stops actually. That can happen even in joy. That can happen even in happiness. It's not necessary to have pain. In my case, it was because I got this entire ambience of nature, of the countryside. I used to look at a leaf, Seema, and I would be gone for hours. Now I know it is meditation. Yes, because of the lives that we live in, it is only trauma, only loss that makes us to stop.
I think that's the best answer I've received, because I've asked this question to so many people. Why not look at the joyful side of things? And maybe that elevates your frequency, raises your frequency to such an extent that you can connect with the higher, masters.
If you take a bus full of people go in the countryside, you can actually see that the breathing changes, the way they walk changes, their expression becomes softer. So we all want to be there, but the system we have created in the last 100 years has shackled us. Right. It's not how we want to be.
Right. And now this channeling and this mediumship, you said you don't do it as a profession.
No, I don't.
Could you tell someone who has lost someone they love and they can't get over it? So
there are different things, the words that come from different people. Yeah. Even I didn't know what we were going to talk about, today.
Yeah.
So even I don't know when the messages come, but the messages come for sure. I have begun to understand one thing. I have surrendered myself totally to this work, and I am open to talking to people, but again, their intention. I'm not a Babaji, and I'm not a prophet who will tell them whether they will be successful and whether they'll pass, how much money they will make.
You'd be a hot Babaji. You look so good. Yeah.
So, it will happen organically. Everyone who connects with me, it is always by design, the divine design. I'm blessed and privileged. Send a message just through me, and it moves and humbles me deeply.
I was a little surprised when I spoke to you for the first time over the phone, and you gave me a message from my mother. You didn't even know that she had passed on. But I remain so grateful for what you did, because...
I'm grateful to that. Your mother, she took the opportunity to trust me. She chose to trust me, to give the message to you and show you that she loves you and she sees you and she understood your love and, to say whatever she had to. So I'm grateful also.
She said, eat at the right time. And she always told me that, she says. So that really got me. I said, from there too, she's, monitoring my food.
I think, that's one thing that may have been concerning her. Maybe you needed that reminder from her.
Yeah, I did. I always do. She used to really tell me that. I told my sister and she also said, my God, she used to do that. So, Rani, thank you so much. Before I close this, I would just like to ask you, you are now a food therapist also in a way?
Yes, I do that as a profession. I'm a vegan food coach. If somebody wants to have a diet designed, and I work with their doctor. The masters also have given me a process using salt, where we detoxify their heart, their being, by letting go of all that doesn't serve them. Yeah. So mindful eating, mindful living, we try and get them into an awakened living.
Okay. So
thank you for asking me about
this. Is of course important because you're doing so much for everybody.
They can email me at rani@veganfoodcoach.com.
I want to thank Daryl also because he gave me your number and the connect, and he said you must speak to Rani. Hopefully we'll meet soon.
You're most welcome for having me on, and thank you for being such an important part of my life that made me realize that my work is going to be more public now. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rani. Take care. I'll speak to you later. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Take on the universe. Subscribe and come on board our channel.